How can it not? How can it not be a b'diavad? I'm saying, you ever heard of going to a Bezdin and I guess Bezdin on Zoom, yeah, but to be matan neder, yeah, I don't. None of this Zoom stuff is lechatchila. They matan saying you'd give Midas over, right? So I don't get that either. But whatever. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekolnu yom v'dvarah.
Hey, we just said amen on Zoom. Right?
Yeah, so it was a bit evident. Maybe you shouldn't have said amen. Maybe you should not have said amen.
Yeah, no, they say as long as it's direct, right?
That's what you said. As long as there's no delay, right?
What?
You said as long as it's like really long.
How do you know if there's a delay?
Right, exactly.
Right.
Also, what's considered a delay? Is a half a second a delay, or is it a minute?
A half a second is a delay.
Well, when did they blow the delay a game whistle in football? When is how much time that's about?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the same gather. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone.
What?
No. I say.
What do you say? No, I want us ready to roll.
Oh no, I was going to say something, but it was silly, so I'm not.
Okay.
Because no one ever says anything silly here.
I know. I was going to say I don't know if anyone's up on this, but years ago there was a whole mahalach on how close you could get to the New York Stock Exchange for the day traders.
Right.
I don't know if you know about that, Tiago, or no?
No, I do not.
Nope.
To see how close, because the fiber optic cable they would calculate in like millionths of a second. So for those guys, you have different delays. Huh?
Elio, it's way before your time, but Jack Kerouac. Okay, I don't even. You know who he is?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I was in Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test. You know that book. So Neil Cassidy, who was Jack Kerouac's friend, he tried to take so much speed that he could live exactly in the moment, because he says you're automatically living in the past. The moment happened already. So he was trying to live in the moment. That was that's what he tried to accomplish. Whatever.
That was a comedian had that line. He said someone came over and told him, "I saw a picture of you when you were younger." He said every picture of me was when I was younger.
That's pretty good. Here. Okay.
Can I just express my amazement that Rabaran was just talking about speed? I want to throw that out there. The old Shal Yashav came out a little bit about speed.
All right, that's it.
I don't know if he knows Al Shal Yashav.
He knows it. Yeah. Yeah, that's very good. Okay. Anyways, all right, we're ready to roll?
Yeah.
Okay, so just the chazer from yesterday. So we talk about breira. It's basically, do we hold the breira or do we not hold the breira? All right? Then that was Amud Aleph, and we asked a few kashas on Rabbi Yossi that he doesn't hold the breira. And then we tried to differentiate, do you say it breira on Deraisa, the Rabbanon? And then we had a steer of Reb Shimon by breira, and Shumas and Maises can only be removed if the food is defined. We said, right? We said you can't stop to take Shumas and Maises out of a barrel, doesn't work. And then we said we're not concerned if the barrel, so it's a Machlokes whether you should be concerned when the person makes Shumas and Maises over a barrel of wine that's in a guy's rishus, if that's a problem. Yeah. So because it's a problem because the how do you call it? The barrel might break and then you end up eating tevel. I remember what my mushal was for breira. They say the joke that I'll become a wealthy guy. All I need to have is tomorrow's paper today, right? And then you become a wealthy guy, right? So that's basically what breira is. If I gotta know today what's going to be tomorrow, and then I'll be then I'll know things. Fine. So that's okay. So Baruch Hashem, tonight's daf is a whole lot easier. I'd like to at least do a blot and a half so we can try and make up for the first day of Rosh Hashanah. But it's so it's a much easier. It's like the Mishna, right? On Daf Lamed Chesam Rav, basically when he's talking about making an Eruv on 2-day Yom Tiv, when one day Yom Tiv is Shabbos, Basically, but is Yom Tif one full day or is Yom Tif 2 separate days, meaning the 2 days of Yom Tif, right? And it's not that what we're not going to discuss now, but when the Shabbos followed by Yom Tif or Yom Tif followed by Shabbos, do we look at that as 2 separate days or one long day, right? So that's the Mishnah.
We're going to get into making early Yom Tif?
Are we going to get into maybe if we really run off on a tangent, but maybe I don't know. Maybe we could fit that in there, right? Oh, I should have discussed that on the other shir, right? Many don't do early Yom Tov. Most don't on Rosh Hashanah.
Wouldn't that be dependent whether or not it's one full day, if it's independent days or?
Well, that would be the second day. That would be the second day. The first day, the reason why people don't make it is because since it's Yom Hadin. Who wants to be early for a Yom Hadin, right? You come when you need to go to court. You don't bring it in early. So that's literally the shot in that. Okay, so Zok the Mishnah. So Rabbi Eliezer says Yom Tif Hasamach l'Shabbos, right? The Mishnah Lamed Ches Amud Aleph. Yeah, Yom Tif Hasamach l'Shabbos. Yom Tif that's close to Shabbos. Beimil acharei ma'arav adam shnei Eruvin. Right, a person makes 2. You have to make 2 Eruvin, right? Now you have to, but you can. Yeah? Meaning, so whether Shabbos is on Friday or whether Shabbos is like this week, whether Shabbos, whether Yom Tov is on Friday or Yom Tov is on Sunday, like it is this week, so you make 2 Eruvin.
Well, you just said you don't have to and you can. Why would you if you don't have to?
But I'm saying it is an Eruv techum. You don't have to go. No?
Oh, I'm saying it's only if you want to walk, you're saying.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Right.
Okay, you're saying. But what if you're walking, then you have to.
Yeah. Oh, very good. Yes. Thanks for the clarification. 100%. Right. Once you're walking, then you have to. So again.
You're trying not to take a nap. It's Rosh Hashanah. That you said.
You gotta. If you have to walk for hours, that's what you got to do.
That's right. That's right. Fine. So again, Rabbi Eliezer, Yom Tov Hasamach l'Shabbos, Beimil Achem Ma'arav Adam Shnei Eruvin. You make 2 Eruvs. V'Omer Eruvi Berishon l'Mizrach. My Eruv on the first day is to the east. V'Sheni l'Ma'arav, and the second day is to the west. Berishon l'Ma'arav, the first day to the west. V'Sheni l'Mizrach, and the second day to the east. Eruvi Berishon v'Sheni k'bnei Iri. Or I can make an Eruv on the first day, and the second day I'm like the people from my city, and then I can go 2,000 amos in each direction. Eruve b'sheni u'berishon k'bnei Iri, or I'm on the my Eruv is on the second day, and the first day is like b'nei Iri. Okay, so basically, Rabbi Eliezer clearly holds that it's 2 different days, and you're allowed to split it. You can have an Eruv to go in one direction one day and go in another direction the other day. Either you make an Eruv in one direction, or you don't make an Eruv at all. You're all in or all out. Or you make an Eruv for both days, or you don't make an Eruv at all, which seems to be redundant, right? It's the same thing, which the Gemara is going to ask on that. So Ketzad Yaseh, so how could you do it? What you do is you bring the food to the edge of the town where you want to make the Eruv to on the first day, and you stay there till it's dark. And then you take it and you bring the food back home. And then b'sheni machshalav, and the second day you have to go out. You got to go back to the same place and leave it there. Then you could eat it though, because you don't need it for another day. There's only 2 days Yom Tov, and then you could eat it and go home, right? The nimtza mistaker.
Isn't that preparing?
Well, the Gemara is going to discuss that it's preparing. For nimtza mistaker ba'alichasa, and then you're gaining with your halicha because you have an eruv techum. Mistaker be'eruv, and you also get to eat your eruv. Yeah, necha b'rishon. If let's say the food got eaten on the first day, eruvai l'rishon, his right, the eruv is only going to work for the first day because once it gets eaten, it's not going to work for the second day. Ve'ein eruv l'sheni, and there's no eruv for the second day. Amar Rabbi Eliezer, ma'idem atem lishen shtei kedushas. Rabbi Eliezer says 1 second. If you're saying you can't have it both ways, that means you agree to me that there's 2 different kedushas. Meaning, the chachamim are saying you can only make 1 eruv in one direction and that's it. That means they hold that it's one big day, right? So then, if that's the case, if the eruv was there the first night, right? The eruv was there the first night, so then it should work for both nights, right? Again, the chachamim are saying that it's 1 full day and that's it. So you got to make an eruv for one direction, and that's all. Right, so then if that's the case, it's 1 full day. So if you make the Eruv on the first day, and then it gets eaten, it should still be good for the second day. Why not? Right? You can't have it both ways, which is exactly what the Gemara is going to say. That yes, the chachamim have it both ways because they don't know. They're not sure which way is it. Is it 2 separate days or is it 1 day? So therefore, they're machmer both ways, and they say you have to look at it l'chumra that it's 2 days. You have to look at it l'chumra like it's 1 day. So zok the Gemara l'ruach achas ma'inihu. What does it mean ruach achas? L'shnei yamim. For 2 days. L'shnei yamim ma'inihu. For 2 days, what is it? L'ruach achas for one ruach. Hainu kamaisa. That's the same thing that you just said. Meaning you can make, but the bottom line is you can make an Eruv in one direction. Why are you saying it in two different ways to describe that? So this is what the Rabbanon think of Rabbi Eliezer. Do you not agree? Chachamim say to Rabbi Eliezer, don't you agree that you can't make an Eruv techum for half of Shabbos in one direction and the next half of Shabbos to the other direction? Amr and Aval. So Rabbi Eliezer said, yes, that's true. You cannot make an Eruv in two different directions on one Shabbos. So the chachamim said back to him, "Kashem shein ma'arvin l'yom echad chetzi l'dar v'chetzi l'zaman." Just like you can't make an Eruv in 1 day, half to the south and half to the north. Kach ein ma'arvin l'shnei yomim yom echad l'mizrach yom echad l'ma'ariv. So too on 2 days Yom Tov, you also can't make one to the east, one to the west, because it's one long day. So Rabbi Eliezer hasam kedusha achas hacha beis kedushas. There it's one big kedusha. Here, meaning Shabbos is one kedusha. It's not 2 different days. Hacha beis kedushas, but here it's 2 different kedushas. You have 1 day Shabbos, 1 day Yom Tov, 2 different days. Therefore, you could split it. So that was what the Chacham had a time in Rabbi Eliezer, and that's what he answered back. Amal and Rabbi Eliezer. So now Rabbi Eliezer goes on the offensive and asks kashas on the Chacham. Don't you agree, Chacham Shim Eruv baragla b'yom rishon, that if you made an Eruv with your feet on the first day Yom Tov, ma'ar baragla b'yom sheni, then you have to go back out there the second day. Nechal Eruv b'yom rishon. If you ate your Eruv on the first day, if it got eaten, ein yotzalav b'yom sheni, then you're not allowed to go out on the second day, right? Because the Eruv was eaten before the second day. So they said, yes, that's true. We don't allow you to go out the second day. So he says, high lie, beis kedushas hain, right? High lie is like a lashon of it's. So you're clearly saying that it's 2 different kedushas. Otherwise, why wouldn't the Eruv work if it got eaten on the first day? It's one long day. So the Gemara answers, Rabbanan tzfukim mesafkalu. The Rabban weren't sure. Is it 2 days or 1 day? So therefore, they're strict both ways. So therefore, the Chachamim say that if you're gonna want to go on both days Yom Tov for a long walk, so you got to make an Eruv techum on the first night, and then you got to go out on the second night and make it again, because it's 2 different days. But
why are they? I don't understand. Why are they l'chumra? Don't we say? Do they hold Eruv techum as deraisa?
Oh yeah. So that's. I think it's not shot in the Eruv that's the issue. They're mesupik about the Yom Tov itself. Whether
it's a din d'Rabbanan at the end of the day that they're being misapik about, that they're going to chumrah.
No, because can it have applications for deraisa? It can't, because Yom Tov Sheni is the Rabbanan. It's not, but this is not.
No, I'm asking out the Eruv. Eruv techum is, unless you hold this deraisa, whatever you're doing is the Rabbanan.
No, but the Yom Tov Sheni, right?
I understand that, but even without that, what the suffix is whether this techum, your techum is established or not. No.
Correct, but it can manifest.
Right. So I'm asking: are these Rabbanan agreeing with Rabbi Akiva or not? That's all I'm asking.
Right. No. I don't know. See, this is not an issue with techum. This is an issue whether you look at the Yom Tov if it's 1 day or 2 days.
I understand that, but if the Rabbanan is supik, if the Rabbanan is supik, suffik the Rabbanan l'kula, and you should just go. Why are we going l'chumra then? The Rabbanan say we go l'chumra when there's a suffik here. Why? Suffik the Rabbanan l'kula.
True, right, but I think it's just the suffik and the metzias whether we look at it.
I'm saying, isn't Bein Hashmashos the same idea?
Yes. Yeah. So you're asking why, and a chanami, but yeah, that's true. But I think it's just in the metzias how you look at it, right? How you. And
we don't say it. There's no idea of suffix how you look at something that we go suffix Rabbanan l'kula. We never say that idea?
I don't know why. It's here. It's not. The suffix is not a derabbanan. It's a suffix of how we analyze the 2 days and the 1 day. And they're just not sure which way to analyze it.
Right, but if it at the end of the day, in a derabbanan, it should be lakula. That's all I'm asking. If you're talking about how to,
it should be lakula. Yeah, l'chayra. Yeah, l'chayra. Yeah. I hear you, Ara. Okay, good. That's what we said.
Question.
What?
Can I ask you a stupid question? And maybe this shows I have no idea what I'm talking about in Eruvin.
Go ahead.
If it gets eaten, right? And you say you have to bring another one. If a house gets burned down, does that mean you lost your whole techum? Meaning before Shabbos you had a house, that's your techum. Now let's say it burns and it's gone. Does that mean you lost your techum?
No. If it's there Friday night, then you're fine. If it wasn't there Friday night, yes, then you lost your techum, right? That was the sukkah we had a couple of days ago, right? Comes out, right?
So now you're saying if your techum gets eaten, you have to go put another one there. Why is it the same concept?
No, because it's a new day. It's because they're holding that it's a separate day, right? In the middle of Shabbos, you wouldn't have to. It's only because it's a separate day. Now you have to go back out there and put it, right? So that's a hachal l'chumra. Fine. Okay.
1 second. You meant Friday at sundown if it's still there, right? Not Friday night.
Friday sundown. Well, that's a Machlokes, but it has to be there by shki or by tzeis. But right, yeah. But Friday sundown, 100%. Yes. So Amr Eliezer R Eliezer. So now the chacham said back to R Eliezer, right? With 6 lines up from the bottom. Aren't you maida that you don't make an eruv b'tchila from Yom Tov to Shabbos, right? Because even R Eliezer said you should go back out and make it again, right? Why do you have to do that? Yeah, Amar Lehen. You can't do it on Yom Tov. That's it. So Amar Lehen Aval. He said yes, it's true. So highlight kedusha achasi, right? So then it must be it's one kedusha. That's why you're preparing it. Meaning, you can't. He's saying that you have to prepare the Eruv on Yom Tov. If you're saying that it's one long day. If you say, it's 2 days. No, I'm saying it backwards. The chacham are trying to show him that it's one long day. Because if it wasn't one long day, why would there be a problem of setting up the Eruv twice? That's what R Eliezer said. R Eliezer hasam mishum hachana. Right? There, it's because of hachana. R Eliezer is not saying that the reason why you need to wait for Yom Tov is because it's an issue of 2 day, 1 day. It's that you're preparing, which we're going to get to on Amud Beis. You're preparing, right?
Well, once you wait, it's not there, but
you're not allowed to prepare for Shabbos from Yom Tov, obviously excluding a Eruv Tavshilin, right? What are you saying?
This is wait till Yom Tov. It's not there by Benish Moshes.
Right.
When it's supposed to be there.
No, so we're going to get on Amud Beis exactly how you go about doing that. Okay. What are you saying, Gershon? Is that you talking? No?
Yeah.
All right.
I didn't know you could hear me.
Wow, but that's sometimes we can hear you, I guess.
Minyana Diyayma.
Yeah.
The Tanakh issue, first day Shabbos, bringing the matzah back. Achama, same thing.
Right, yeah. The matzah back from, you're talking about from Tashlich.
Tashlich.
Right. I didn't discuss that on the previous share. I should have, but yeah.
You can't bring it.
No,
the first day. Shabbos.
So what? Why can't you bring it?
It's not there.
You could see the water from. You don't have to walk up to the water.
What's tashlich?
I was waiting for somebody to say that.
You don't know what tashlich is? That's another
I didn't want to
shear.
say it before. I didn't want to.
You don't know what tashlich is? That's another shear.
Yes. Yeah.
If they want to talk, if Simon wants to talk about old Shayoshuv, so what's he going to tashlich for in Rosh Hashanah?
He maybe not. Maybe he knows. He's from the newer old Shayoshuv, so maybe he doesn't know that the old Shayoshuv doesn't do tashlich
at all. Or they don't do it Rosh Hashanah.
At all.
They don't do it at all.
At all.
I'm adopted. Okay, I'm old.
That's good. That's good because I haven't been able to do it for a while.
Yeah, no water in South Bend, huh?
He's a true Shayoshuv guy.
How come they don't do it at all?
The Gra, right? I think it's based on the Gra. I think the Gra. There wasn't the Gra? No, it was the Gra.
Yes.
That's what I thought.
What did the Gra say?
I don't know. He did. He didn't do. I don't really get the story straight there. But
is that a Chaim Berlin thing or that's a Shasha thing?
I'm assuming it's a Chaim Berlin thing, right, Rabar? I'm assuming it's.
No, I say it though. I don't know. I say.
The Gemara said if you a Shayashim guy, then you don't say Tashlach.
Very good.
So the Gra probably waited until Hoshana Rabbah.
Anyways.
The Gra probably waited till Hoshana Rabbah. You need more time. You gotta, what happens in between?
Anyway. Probably to Hanukkah.
So I don't know. So I do it when I see some body of water. I try and say the psukim, whatever it is.
If you say Baruch Yinafshi,
that's what the Gra said. They did it by a sink. I hear. So I don't know who. I don't remember exactly who did Tasha, who didn't. Okay, whatever it is. It's on our bottom. Yeah.
Yaakov.
Yeah.
Even without the Gra and without Chaim Berlin and without Reb Shlomo, in the Mata Ephraim, it says the people who say that Tashlach is a minig. He says, remember, minig is Oisius Gehenim. So
that's what he said. Mata Ephraim says that here.
Yeah, by Tashlach about going together, men and ladies. Yeah. He says
that's that. Yeah.
What do you say to Oisius of school?
As long as you don't sleep, it's all good.
Okay, tyrants.
100%. Okay, so Tana Rabbanan. Yeah, we go weiter. Fine. Eruv beragla b'yom rishon. So what do? You make an eruv with your feet on the first day. Ma'ara beragla b'yom sheni. Then you got to go out and make another eruv on the second day. You got to walk back out there. Nechal eruv b'yom rishon. If your eruv got eaten up on the first day, ein yotzela b'yom sheni. You don't go out. You can't go out to the second day because you don't have an eruv. Divrei Rebbe. That's a Rebbe holds. Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Right. Rabbi Yehuda says. R Eliezer chamar gomel. Remember we had this 2 days ago. Basically, he's masupik whether you're allowed to do it, right? Meaning he's not sure whether it's one day or not. So therefore, he says, right, you got to take the chumras both ways, right? Akiva, he's holding that you can't go in the other direction, and you can't go in the other direction. You got to stick to the middle. You got to stick to the overlapping. Again, we said like if you're sitting in the city, so you get 2,000 amas in each direction of the city. If you make an eruv at the end of the 2,000 amas, let's say to the north, so then you get to go 4,000 to the north, nothing to the west, right? So here, since the guy's not sure, we're not sure whether this eruv works, so you're only allowed to go to those 2,000 amas to the north, and that's it. You can't go further, and you can't go out of the city the other way because we just don't know. We don't know which way you made this eruv. Okay, so Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Shmuel ben Eish, Rabbi Yochanan ben Bereika, Ayrim eruv beragla b'rishon, ein ma'ara beragla b'sheni. If you make an eruv with your feet on the first day, then you don't make an eruv with your feet on the second day. Nechal eruv b'yom rishon, yotzela b'sheni. If you eat your eruv on the first day, then you go out the second day.
Right, yes. If you go out on the second day with your raglov, how's that not a chana? But if you go there before Shabbos,
so very good, very good. We're going to discuss it more towards the bottom of the Amud. Excellent. Yes, it's going to ask that, right? Yeah, so the basic the same machlokes. Amar Rav, yeah, I mean here it says a three-way machlokes. Amar Rav halacha kedalit zekenim halolu. The halacha is like these four elders, valiba the Rebbe Eliezer, and they're going according to Rebbe Eliezer. The Amar base kedusha saying that they hold that it's two different kedushas, right? So therefore you need since it's two different kedushas, you need two different eruvin. Ve'elu hein dalit zekenim. These are the four zekenim. Rav Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Yochanan ben Bereika, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda Stimsa. Right? Ve'ikad Amri Chad Minayu Rabbi Eliezer, and some say it's not. One of them is Rabbi Eliezer. Umapik Rabbi Yosef bar Yehuda Stimsa. Okay. V'ha Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Yishmael bar Rabbi Yochanan ben Bereika Ifcha Shaminalu. We heard that they said the opposite. So the Gemara says, right? Here we go. Epuch. Switch it. We heard the opposite. Okay, so switch it, then everything makes sense. Ihachi Hainu Rebbe. That's the case, and you switched it, then that's the same as Rebbe, because Rebbe had said, yeah, if the Eruv gets eaten, right, then it's no good, meaning you need a second Eruv on the second day. So Ema v'chein Amar Reb Shimon Gamliel. So it's not, say, in addition, Reb Shimon Gamliel also said this. So v'lechashim nami Rebbe. So how come we don't count if that's the case? He said the Dalit Zakanim, why didn't he put Rebbe there too? So Gemara answers, Rebbe Tani lo v'lo savar lo. No, because Rebbe taught it, but he didn't hold of it. He only taught it, but he himself didn't agree with it. Rabbanan nami tanu lo v'lo savar lo. So maybe the Rabbanan too, they only taught it and didn't hold it. So Rav Gemara Gomer lo, Rav Rav had a Gemara. It was a Gemara law. Rashi says he had a Masorah. That would be the right word to say it. That these 4 zakanim held like Rabbi Eliezer that the Yom Tov is taka 2 separate days. Fine. So Kinoch Nafshi the Rav Huna. When Rav Huna was nifter, Ayol Rav Chisda Lamirma the Rav. So Rav Chisda went up and to ask a stira from Rav on Rav. Miyom Rav Aloch Kedalit Zakanim. Did Rav say that the Allah is like the 4 zakanim of Liba the Rabbi Eliezer, and it's going according to Rabbi Eliezer, the Amar Shtei Kedushas, saying that there's 2 different Kedushas, right? And therefore you need to make 2 different Eruvin. V'hitmar, we learned Shabbos v'Yom Tiv, right? When you have Shabbos and Yom Tiv, one after the other, like we're having this week, Rav Amar Nolda Bezeh, Asura Bezeh. If something was born on the first day, right? It's referring to an egg. An egg gets laid on the first day, Asura Bezeh. It's also on the second day. So why? If it's 2 different days, why should it be usher on the second day? Right? Meaning, again, if you hold it's 1 long day, so we know that something born that wasn't in the world, you're not allowed to use. Right? That's why if something falls off the tree on Shabbos, right? If an apple falls off the tree on Shabbos, you're not allowed to eat that apple. Right? So if you have an egg that gets laid on Yom Tov, you're not allowed to eat it that day. But if you hold it 2 separate days, so then what's wrong with eating it on the next day? It's a whole different day. So Rav says it's also, so it must be that Rav holds that it's 1 long day. So it's a stira because Rav just got finished saying that we hold that it's 2 separate days. So Amarava Hasa Mashum Hachana. No, there it's because of Hachana. Because the Tanya, Vahaya Vayayma Shishi Vechinu, right? It was the 6th day and then they prepared. Right? Right? Rabban, didn't we have this morning in the Gemara? This pasuk, no? That we are supposed to be Mizaras on Friday. I think it's pretty good that we had a yeah. So we must be going at the right pace. The Tanaim v'Yom Shishi ve'Echinu. Chol mechen l'Shabbos, v'chol mechen l'Yom Tov. You can prepare from weekday for Shabbos and from weekday to Yom Tov. Ve'en Yom Tov mechen l'Shabbos, ve'en Shabbos mechen l'Yom Tov. You're not allowed to prepare from Yom Tov to Shabbos and Shabbos to Yom Tov. So therefore, since this egg was laid on, let's say it was Yom Tov the first day, so that's preparing it. If you're going to use it on Shabbos, then that's preparing it for Shabbos, which you're not allowed to do. What do you do with the Eruv? Malicha berishon, right? Akiva is Yikashon, Malicha berishon. You bring the Eruv on the first day, or Machshalav, and you wait till it's dark there, and then you bring it home, or Baloi. Not the Baloi, you take it and you bring it home. So then B'Sheni Machshalav, and then the second day, you also stay there till it's dark, then and then you eat it, and then you bring it, and then you go home. By walking out there to bring your Eruv on Yom Tiv, the first day is Yom Tiv, and then it's Shabbos. Aren't you preparing for Yom Tiv to Shabbos? Right? So Amalei Rabba. So Rabba said, "Mi suffers Saif Hayom Kaina Eruv." Do we say that the end of the day is Kaina Eruv? Meaning, do we say that the Eruv takes place at Shkia? Tchilas Hayom Kaina Eruv. The beginning of the day is kind of the Eruv, right? Which is when Seis, right? For Shabbos, Mechina La'atzma. And you got to have it there, though, by the beginning of Shabbos, and therefore Shabbos is preparing for itself, right? Meaning you're bringing it there before Shabbos. It's there right at the beginning of Shabbos at Shkia, but the Eruv doesn't kick in until nightfall. So really, you weren't preparing for Yom Tov to Shabbos. You were preparing from Shabbos to Shabbos. Can
I ask Starbucks kasha?
Yeah, no, I know what you're going to ask. It's a good kasha. Okay, tell me what you did. Yeah. Go ahead.
How do you carry it there?
No, that's what it's saying. Yom Tov
it's
to Shabbos.
So it's carrying on Shabbos.
No, it's saying there's a Yom Tov to Shabbos.
No, this is you're preparing for Shabbos on Shabbos.
No, your Eruv is there by Shkia.
No.
No? No?
It says the
case the Gemara says
there again. It takes there.
What did it say?
It says he takes there the first day to bring it back.
Brings it back.
This Friday night. Then he takes it again for the second night.
Friday afternoon he takes it there.
That's it. So
why? It's Friday after. It's Yom Tov.
Oh, it's Yom Tov.
There seems the Gemara is talking about a case of Yom Tov after Shabbos. I'm sorry, Yom Tov before Shabbos. No, I mean that's a lashon. It says,
Yeah,
the
case before is both ways.
What?
Yeah, specific. So this is only that case.
Yeah.
So this is only that case.
Yes.
The Gemara mentioned before both ways.
Right. That's because it's talking about hachana, so you can't be making from one to the other. Right. But that would be that would be. Otherwise, you'd have to just walk out there and stay
Shabbos, you can prepare.
You cannot.
The guys didn't make an Eruv Tavshilin.
Right. Oh, if you make an Eruv Tavshilin, then the whole thing is not an issue. Doesn't seem like they're taking Eruv Tavshilin into the equation.
You're not supposed to not make one.
True. Yeah.
How is he lighting for Shabbos? Here is Shabbos.
Right.
Tzviaga, first of all, the Gemara literally says how come Mechan Yom Tov was Shabbos. So we are talking about that case according to Abaye's Kasha. But right, the Gemara says how come Mechan Yom Tov was Shabbos.
Right.
So it is talking about that specific case.
What Yom Tov the Shabbos? Yeah.
I mean, the Gemara asks that way specifically.
Right. Yeah, I think so. If it was the other day, then it wouldn't be. Yeah, that's.
But Tzviaga, I don't understand. Didn't we always say that when it comes to Eruvin, that you actually have to have it, that it's a prepared meal for the next day?
Yes, very good. It's going to be Akiva. You're on the ball tonight. Either you cheated or you're on the ball tonight.
I got cheat codes.
Oh, very good. Okay, so very good. So the Gemara is going to ask that. That's one of the Gemara is going to ask that. So okay, but the Gemara is saying so. Basically, what you do, I thought you were going to ask something else, Karshan. I think you say like Mamanavshach. When does Shabbos start? When Shabbos starts, the Eruv should be there. It seems like we're doing a double standard. We're saying it's got to be there by Shkia, and the Eruv doesn't start till night, till Tzeis. So like which one? Is it Shabbos? Is it not Shabbos? We're calling it Shabbos, but it's not Shabbos for the Eruv. I don't have it really clear. Okay, Elamayata, Yarvu Belagin, right? Why can't you do an Eruv with the Lagin? Remember 2 days ago or 3 days ago, whatever it was, we had the case where you stuck the Tful Yom, the guy who was Toivel, he brought up wine with the jug, right? And since he says this is going to be Truma, right now it's Tevel, he says it's going to be Truma Friday night. So we said that you're not allowed to do that, right? Because it's going to become, it's Tevel, it's not going to become the Eruv, it's not going to become Truma until nightfall. But you need the Eruv to be there by Shkia, right? Which is the opposite of what we're saying here, right? Why can't you do the Eruv Belagin? Because your Eruv is not kicking in till nightfall, the same thing when the Truma is going to be. So and what Akiva says, Beinin Suda Haruya Mibaidya. No, the reason why it doesn't work is you need a Suda that's fitting to be eaten when it's still day. And since it's Teva when it's day, it's not going to work. If a Leka and you don't have that. Fine. So
wouldn't it also be muktzah?
No, that's talking about a regular weekday. I mean, whatever, Friday. That's a regular Friday. Not talking about Yom Tov. That's on a regular Friday. Yeah. So then what says Elahata Tanan Rabbi Eliezer Yom Tov Samach l'Shabbos. Yom Tov that's next to Shabbos. Whether it's on Friday, whether it's after on Sunday, Ma'arav Adam Shnei Eruvin, that a person can make 2 Eruvs. You need a Suda that's Ruya Miba'id Yaim, and you don't have it, right? Right there, because how is it going to be Roy, right? If you don't have it, why not? Because where are you carrying this? Meaning, if your Eruv only works for the first day. Yeah, because again, we're talking about if it's Yom Tov before Shabbos, Shabbos before Yom Tov. So we say you have to have 2 Eruvs, right? But how do you have the Eruv on the first day for the second day if it's not edible? You're not allowed to walk there, right? You put the Eruv there, you're not allowed to walk there, right? It's out of the techum.
Didn't we have a suffix about this? Whether if something is inaccessible, but it's there, whether that's
right. But no, but this is right. But but this is what the Gemara is assuming now in the Havamina is that you put this Eruv by the edge of 2,000 amas from the city, right? So if you're not by that Eruv, right? If you don't have access to that Eruv, then that's not a Eruv that's Ruya Mibayid Yoim.
What about gal, like a wall that falls in it? Is that any different than a wall that falls in it? It's there. It's just you can't access it. Is that? Did we?
Well, that was the case. We said that it rolled out 4 amos, more than 4 amos out, right?
Oh, so you're saying technically you could get it?
Yeah. See, again, but I don't get it clear because why can't it be right at the edge of the 2,000 amos and it is accessible, right? Oh, can it right be on the edge and he can get there? It seems like it's past. It's 2,000 amos, right? Oh, that's pshat. No, I think he walked 2,000 amos way out. Now when he's kicking back, he's not. It's the Eruv is not accessible to him. I think that's a pshat. So Gemara, but either way, that's the Havamid is that you're putting the Eruv at 2,000 amos away. The Gemara says, "Misavras the manachle b'soif afayim amma." Who says you don't have to make an Eruv techum at the maximum, right? Lakan b'soif afayim lakan. No, like the manachle b'soif elef amma lakan b'soif elef amma lakan. He only put it 1,000 amos away, so therefore it was accessible. Meaning we're thinking that you're doing the maximum Eruv 2,000 amos away, so then maybe it's a problem to access it from one day to the other day. But no, you only put it 1,000 amos, right? So then it's easily accessible, right? Like the monachle b'soif elef amma lakan, b'soif elef amma lakan. Fine.
If he puts 500, if he put 500 amos in one direction and 1,500 in the other direction, would still be accessible?
500 amos in one direction and 1,500 in the other direction.
Should still be accessible.
Yes, that would still be accessible. Yeah, but if you do it,
as long as it adds up, as long as it adds up to less than 2,000, I would get something.
Correct, right? But that's right. Thank you, Doug. That actually helped me get the pshat right. That's if it's both going in the same direction both days, then you could do it. But if you're going to do it in 2 separate directions, then it doesn't work, right? Fine. Say Elohadam Rav Yehuda, Eruv baraglav yom rishon, ma'ara baraglav yom sheni. If you make an Eruv with your feet on the first day, you can make an Eruv with your feet on the second day. Eruv b'pas b'yom rishon. If you make an Eruv with bread on the first day, ma'ara b'pas b'yom sheni, you make an Eruv with bread on the second day. Hakamechem b'yom tov l'Shabbos. You're preparing from Yom Tov to Shabbos, right? Meaning when you're going out there and you're standing there and you're making the Eruv, when you verbalize and say that you're making the Eruv, isn't that preparing from one day to the next? So Amarle, Misavas the Azal, Amar Midi, who says you have to go there and say something? The Azal B'Shasik, all you have to do is, the Azal B'Shasik B'Yasik, all you have to do is go, stay quiet, and sit down, which is quite difficult for some people, but I'm saying, but you don't have to, right, staying quiet. I mean, I guess you could talk, you just don't have to say that it's an Eruv, right? So therefore, it's not Hachana. The Gemara is going to discuss this. So basically, you walk out there, and you stay quiet and just stand there. So that's not a chana. A person's allowed to walk wherever he wants to walk, right?
Well, it's not evident. It's not evident that it's a chana.
Correct, exactly. That's what the Gemara is going to say soon. Very good. So Kiman, Reb Yochanan ben Nuri. Who is this like? This is like Reb Yochanan ben Nuri, right? Chefze hefker koinen shvisa. Reb Yochanan ben Nuri has an interesting shita. He holds that chefze of hefker also koinen shvisa, meaning we know that your objects, your belongings that you have also get the same techum as you get. What about objects of hefker? Right? Meaning there's a piece of food. There's a piece of food sitting in the middle of the highway somewhere. That also gets only, it has its own techum. It has techum to 2,000 amos each way. Right? That's all it gets. So now a fruit that got dropped on the ground can't talk. Right, and if your fruit is talking, then you got big issues, right? But your fruit can't talk, so therefore, how does it make an Eruv? How does it make a techum? How is it kind of shvisa over there? Elamai, you don't have to talk in order to be kind of shvisa, right? Again, Keman Rav Yochanan ben Nuri Damer Chefze Hefker kind of shvisa. Fine. So then the Gemara says, no, Afilu Tema Rabbanon. You can even say the Rabbanon, right? That's and they. 1 second. We even say the Rabbanon.
Did we just compare a person to a fruit, to an inanimate object?
Yes. Yeah. Why?
I don't know. It seems a little strange. I mean,
it
obviously,
is. You're right.
The person has to have a thought. At least he has a thought. So the inanimate object does not have a thought.
Right. So that's what you're saying. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri holds.
You put the vegetables.
What? What are you saying? Oh, we missed it. No, the Machlokes, I should have explained this before. The Machlokes of Yachanun and Rabbanan is, let's say the guy goes to make an Eruv techum and he falls asleep. Right? He falls asleep. When it by tzeis or shkia, whichever you hold, you have to be there. He falls asleep. So now is his Eruv a good Eruv or not? He wasn't conscious to make it into an Eruv. So Yochanan ben Nuri says you don't need to be awake. And the Rabbanan say you do need to be awake because you need to say something. So the Gemara's first teretz is saying that this is going according to Yochanan ben Nuri. You don't have to say anything. So therefore, it's not preparing from Yom Tov to Shabbos or Shabbos to Yom Tov because you're not saying anything. You're just standing there. Now the Gemara is going to say, no, even according to Rabbanan, who hold you have to be awake, and seemingly you have to say something. Right? So feel the Rabbanan Adkan, like Pligi Rabbanan, Rav Yochanan ben Nuri, Ele biyoshin, the loy matzi omar. That's where he's sleeping, that he can't say anything. Avol b'niur, but if he's up, the e-boy lemeimar, matzi omar, that if he can say it, then he has to say it. Avagav the loy omar, then even though he didn't say it, command the omar dummy, it's as if he did say it.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean? You can't have it both ways.
What do you mean? He's saying that's the Rabbanon only say that you have to say something when you're not up and alive and awake, right? But if you're awake, but if you're awake, that if you want to say something, you can say it. Afagav deloy amar. And even if you didn't say it, commando amar means as if, meaning if you're awake, you don't have to
Shabbos,
say it.
Before Shabbos, or after Shabbos?
If you're awake,
so it's as if he made achana before Shabbos. We make that. So we're looking at as if he made achana before Shabbos.
Yes, if he's up, then he doesn't have to say anything. It's only if he's sleeping, then that's no good. That's. No,
I'm just asking. So we're looking at as if he's making achana before Shabbos.
Yeah.
So that you're allowed to do?
Now it's what I mean. No, now it's not achana before Shabbos. He doesn't have to say anything.
But we're saying we look at it as if he did.
What?
We're saying we look at it as if he did say it before Shabbos.
As long as he's up, yes.
So it says if he's making achana before Shabbos, but he's not?
Yeah.
How do you have it both ways like that? It's a little like we're saying to some degree he's making achana because we're looking at it as if he's saying it, but he's not. In the sense that he'd be over it's a achana, he's not.
Yeah.
It's a little bit having it both ways.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So it's a double again. That's all.
What are you saying?
I'm a double again. That's all.
What are you saying, Doctor?
You're going to see another line or two where they're going with this.
Yeah. Okay. So Avagav Deloy Omar. So command the Omar. It's Avagav Deloy Omar. Command the Omar. Let me find. Omar le Rabbi Barachana le Rabbi. I have a shmiya le lamar hod Tanya. If Mar would have heard this thing that we learned in the Brisa, that lo yahalach adam l'soif sadeu leida mahi tzricha, a person shouldn't go to the end of his field, right, at the end of Shabbos. A person shouldn't walk because he wants to see, he's nervous about, right? What does everybody do? They check the emails right after Shabbos, see what's going on in the business, the whole that, how many sales they made on Amazon, et cetera, right? So this guy wants to go check out his field, so he wants to walk there right at the end of Shabbos. So he shouldn't do that, right? Similarly, and now to the next stop. A person shouldn't walk to the end of the Medina in order to be able to go into the Merchatz at the end. So, yeah. So, what do you see? If he would have known this, Hardabay, he would have been Chayzer, because you see clearly that even just walking is considered preparation. Here we're not talking about what he said anything. It's not true. Shamalei, he heard this, and he still didn't change his mind. Why? Because Hassam Milsa, there it's obvious what he's doing. When the guy's walking out to his field, everybody knows what he's doing. And when the guy is standing outside the bathhouse, everybody knows he wants to be the first guy into the bathhouse after Shabbos. But here it's not obvious why. If the guy's a Talmud Chacham, what are people going to see when he's walking towards the edge of town? Amrinon Shmaitza Mishachte. He's people Talmid Chacham roam around. They get lost in their thoughts. And before they know it, they're at the end of the town. And if he's in Amoritz, Amrinan Chamra Irkasle. He lost a donkey. He lost a chamor. He's looking for his chamor. Nobody's going to think that you're preparing for the next day. So therefore, that's not an issue. Fine. Gufa Amar Rav Yehuda Ira Baragla B'Yom Rishon Ma'ar Baragla B'Sheni. If you made an Eruv with your feet on the first day, then you make an Eruv with your feet on the second day. Ira B'Pas Yom Rishon, Ma'ar B'Pas B'Yom Sheni. If you made an Eruv with bread on Yom Rishon, you make an Eruv with Pas on the second day. If you made an Eruv with bread on the first day, then ma'ara baragla b'sheni, you got to go with your feet on the second day, right? But that, because why do you have to go with your feet? That's talking about a case where you ate, the bread got eaten. But if you make an Eruv on the first day with your feet, meaning you walked all the way out there, then you cannot go, you can't use bread the second day. Why? You're not allowed to make the first Eruv with bread, right? Because how are you going to do that? That's hachana, right? That would be hachana to make it with bread. If you didn't do it with bread from the day before. Eruv b'pas b'yom rishon, ma'arav b'pas b'yom sheni. Right? Now, I'm sorry, this is the quote now. A requote. If you made an Eruv with bread on the first day, you make an Eruv with bread on the second day. It has to be that same piece of bread. Right? Because otherwise, it's going to look like it's a new piece of bread. It's a new hachana. Some of Ashi, Dekanami, Masnisan, the Mishna could be meduile, the Ketoni Kates otherwise. So how do you make the Eruv? Malicha Berishan, Machshachalov, you bring it on the first day, and then it gets dark. V'noit lo, you take it with you, Bala, you bring it back with you, B'sheni, Machshachalov Oichlo, Bala, and then the second day you eat it, and you come, right? So it says the first day you take it and you bring it back. Why do you have to bring it back for? Just bring out a new bread the second day. Elamai, because you got to use the same bread. Right, that's what it seems. Rabbanon Dilma Hasam eitz a toiva kamashmalan. No, there it's just telling you eitz a toiva. That if you want to save bread, you don't want to have to use, or you don't want to, in case somebody's going to come and steal that bread. So bring home the bread with you and then bring it back the next day. Okay, so that's fine. Let's just do the Mishnah. What time is it?
9.
Okay, we can do the Mishnah. Mishnah is not a hard Mishnah, but to me it's a pella that we're holding on Erev Rosh Hashanah. And this is mamash what the sugi is for the next two blot. Yes, so Zok the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda, that was all Yom Tif and Shabbos. Now we're discussing Yom Tif and Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Yehuda, Rosh Hashanah, Shaya Yorei Shematis Aber, right? Rosh Hashanah, they were afraid that they're making it 2 days Rosh Hashanah, right? Meaning the way it worked again back then was that they waited a whole day in order to see if Edom would come. So because of all the technicals that went on, they made it Rosh Hashanah that day, but it may not have been Rosh Hashanah till really the next day. But they were masakin that you keep the first day Rosh Hashanah. If Edom come and say that day is Rosh Hashanah, they come early enough, then that day is Rosh Hashanah and you're done with it. But if they come later than the Karban, the Mincha, Talmud Shabbein Arabayim, then we say that you got to keep the next day Rosh Hashanah too. So Mamela became this minig that Rosh Hashanah is always 2 days. So Rabbi Yehuda, Rosh Hashanah.
Tell me a new thing. So that's
new.
This morning, you said that it could be 3 minutes before Shkia.
Correct, that's what we're saying, right? So that's why he decided to keep 2 days. So Rabbi Yehuda, Rosh Hashanah, Shahaya Yorei Shematis Aber. If you're Rosh Hashanah, you're afraid that they're going to make it into a second day. Ma'arav Adam Shnei Eruv, and you can make an Eruv with two Eruv. Aimer Eruv Berishon LeMizrach, B'Sheni LeMa'arav. The first day is to the east, the second is to the west. Berishon LeMa'arav, B'Sheni LeMizrach. The first one's to the west, second one's to the east. Eruv Berishon, B'Sheni Kibnei Iri. Right, same Mishnah as we had before. Eruv b'sheni v'rishon k'bnei iri. V'lo yhodu lechachamim. The chachamim disagreed and said no. Why? Because Rosh Hashanah is a yom ha'arich, one long day. Fine. V'oidam Rav Yehuda masna adam al kalkala b'yom tif rishon. A person can make a t'nai on a basket on yom tif rishon with chumas and maises. V'oichla b'sheni, he makes a t'nai and he could say, if today is yom tif, I'm being mafresh chumas and maises, and tomorrow I'll eat it. And if tomorrow is yom tif, then today it's weekday, so it's no problem. You could eat it on the second day. If an egg was born on the first day, Rosh Hashanah, you could eat it on the second day. The Chacham said, no, Rosh Hashanah is one long day, it doesn't work. Whoever goes, whoever is the chazan on Yom Tov Rosh Hashanah, the point is he's calling it Rosh Chodesh. If it's today or tomorrow. And then the second day, he says if today was Rosh Hashanah or if yesterday was. So clearly he's calling Rosh Hashanah also Rosh Chodesh. The Chacham did not agree with him, and they said that you should not call Rosh Hashanah Rosh Chodesh. We'll see in the Gemara about all this. Okay.
Yaakov, just before you started the prior years, I learned Mishnah about the saying Tzidchaska on Rosh Hashanah. The Mechaber says to say, and the Ramah says not to say because it's Chachik, it's Rosh Chodesh.
Right, I forgot that. Taka, that's very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Now, Perez, I want to start the Amud because it's in detail. It's not hard. It's take a minute or two. That's
You wanted to say that word.
I know. So, Rabban, you had a vote on this that they're making Rosh Hashanah. Do you want to tell the Olam? No.
Oh, you want me? Okay. So, Rav Shorzelzanger brings from Label Ega. He says if you're having trouble, the El did nothing for you, and Slichus did nothing for you, and the mikveh did nothing for you. All the achanis you made, and going all the shopping, it didn't do nothing for you. So he says, just remember, before the Gzeira, they used to be able to make Rosh Hashanah. Adam came 3 minutes before the Shkia on Rosh Hashanah. They said today's Rosh Hashanah. So what they do, they didn't do nothing. They're just hanging out. The guys were all hanging out, eating herring. And it's Rosh Hashanah because they didn't know. So he says, don't lose faith. As long as you know, you have his chadshus. From Rosh Hashanah, gives you his chadshus. Your avoided didn't work, don't worry about it. Because their avoided could have been just 3 minutes on Rosh Hashanah. So don't get depressed and don't lose faith. That's the word.
Whose vote was that?
Rav Shua brings it from a Bla Ega. It's the first night, one of the years of his Sefer, the first night, by Meyer, his Russia by Meyer of the first night.
What's the plan for Rosh Hashanah?
We're going to dip the apple in the honey.
What?
We're going to blow the show for only one day.
Right.
No, seriously, what is there going to be any learning?
There's always learning. There's always learning. We're big tummy chachamim over here.
Okay, let me finish my sentence.
Over here.
Excellent. Is there going to be any shir over Rosh Hashanah during that 48 hours of Yom HaRichta for Daf Yomi in this group?
This group is only on the internet. Strictly internet group.
Doctor, Rav Yaakov's off already, so you're not going to get an answer that you'll an intelligent answer. It's finished.
Doc, I'll be honest.
You're muted, Tzviako. You're muted.
There are people who actually.
I was wondering why nobody could hear me. Tomorrow, as the show, we'll do like a blot and change. And then Friday, Eruv Yom Tov, I think it's Kedai, we go into Yom Tov learning. And then, and especially when it's the Rosh Hashanah Sugya. That's a Rosh Hashanah Sugya. So hopefully we'll end up doing that blot. And then Bez Hashem, what's Rosh Hashanah? Not a bad way to start the year also with learning together. So I think that should be the plan. I hope
About 9 o'clock?
What, tomorrow or what's it?
Rosh Hashanah, what time do you anticipate?
Oh, I don't, well, nobody's making early Yom Tif, so, yeah, well, I daven mincha early, so we want to daven a proper mincha, so figure around, I would say maybe 5:45, 10 to 6, 6 in that area. I guess we'll decide tomorrow.
What time is that?
Yeah. What? Probably about 6:45, no? Can't hear you, parrots.
Only to tell the women after Aaron Horowitz's vart that you only need 2-3 minutes before Rosh Hashanah to get ready.
Oh yeah, that's really gonna fly, parrots. Yeah.
Is the share recorded from 8 o'clock?
Your parrots post it, no?
Yes, I'll post the link to it.
What is the link?
Yeah.
Rabbi, what do we do about the mikvah this year?
Oh, we discussed that. So if you're not scared, you go to the mikvah, unless the doctors say not to. If not, you go to somebody's swimming pool. If you have a jacuzzi works pretty. A jacuzzi should work. Elio Ikovic, you still on there, Icky?
I'm here.
You think a jacuzzi is a shear for a mikvah?
It depends how many person jacuzzi it is.
Right.
But jacuzzi is not mechuber lekarka.
I'm not talking about like a bathtub. It is mechuber. Why is it not mechuber lekarka?
You said above ground.
They're above ground usually.
I know. So I don't know. I was wondering, it's mechuber lekarka. It's just not in the karka.
But you said that. How come that's a difference? You're making a chiluk between that and above ground pool?
Firstly, isn't it a minhag
Yeah,
anyway?
above ground pool. I don't look at it like it's attached to the ground. It just happens to be a pool sitting on the. You know what I mean?
And what's a jacuzzi?
I have no idea if I'm right. I mamish have no idea if I'm right.
Rabbi Force said that you could, if people who are nervous could sit under a shower for 5 minutes.
Right, so that's your last option is sitting under a shower. I would say it probably needs to be longer than 5 minutes. It depends if you have the regulator still in there.
What is that? Tisha Kavin?
It's right on the what's it called?
But you're supposed to turn it on under the shower also.
It also depends on the size of your body, Tiago.
I googled it. It says
I
googled it. It says that a standard 3-person hot tub holds between 200 and 300 gallons.
You serious?
So,
it's that big?
That's the first hit on Google is how many gallons are in a hot tub.
Look at the second hit.
What was I don't know. I'm not looking that closely, but
anybody have a hot tub
either way a mikvah is 200 gallons for a minimum. The minimum share of a mikvah is 200
If I had a hot tub, I would invite you over.
I'm happy to join.
Right. I have an offer for a swimming pool, but you also have the ocean. Harold, just go into your yard.
The back? You can't go in the back. It's only on high tide.
Yeah. Is Rabbi Force suggesting people not go to the mikvah, or he's saying
no? He only said if the people who are sick or who are, I guess, you're nervous or sick.
I can't imagine why anybody. Well, certain mikvahs maybe, but given the growing prevalence of COVID and the fact that you're dealing with hundreds of people coming and going, I would find it interesting that people would feel a chiyuv to go to the mikvah.
By us, the men's mikvah is closed. It's not an option. Yeah, it's not an option. It's either ocean or swimming pool.
When you go to the ocean, how many times do you dunk? Just once? Is there?
Yeah, no, just once is fine.
Depends how many times the fish are biting
If you go to Far Rockaway,
tightly.
If you go to the Far Rockaway beach, you're only going to dunk once till you hit the riptide.
Or until you get hooked by a fisherman.
Yeah.
Tzvi
Yes.
Is there any? Can you explain a pool? Are there any stipulations, or just a pool works?
No, just any pool. Just any pool.
You're supposed to shut the filter.
It's better to shut the filter, but even if you didn't shut the filter,
you don't have to. It's not my.
And if it's your neighbor's pool, keep your bathing suit on.
What about my brother-in-law? My brother-in-law's got a pool.
Your brother-in-law has a pool?
Yeah.
Yes, no, go to pool. That's yeah.
Works for me.
Can I use it? Can I use it on Shabbos, like
My neighbor has
for
a pool
mikvah,
too.
or no?
You can use it on Shabbos and mikvah if you're legit. Ask Peretz, he does it.
My minhag is only in the summer.
Only on Shabbos.
Only in the summer. Only in the summer.
Hold on, Tzvi. Now you're allowing mikvah on Shabbos?
I didn't say I allow it. I said
No. Icky. Only in the summer under certain conditions.
You know what? No, Peretz. Now this I'm going to give you a heart. You make me stop cooking on Shabbos. You can't go to the mikvah on Shabbos.
After a certain amount of liquor and bottles, somehow the mikvah seems very, very appetizing.
For those of us who are immature, how about a kiddie pool?
That actually wouldn't. Listen, doctor, how many gallons does a kiddie pool hold? If you hold for men, that works. Now, again, none of this stuff works for women, but for men, that would work. I think if it holds enough. It's got to cover your whole body, though.
You can keep your
200 gallons.
You're not getting 200 gallons in a kiddie pool, then?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, if a jacuzzi. Yeah, no, an above ground pool will work for this too. It's just not. It's not as good.
Can you keep
The
your bathing
rabbi
suit on?
suggesting skinny dipping?
Listen, I'm not saying you do whatever you want. I said you could wear a bathing suit. You could wear a bathing suit. You don't have to
Not
take
everybody's that skinny anymore.
it off. Yeah, that's
Call it fatty dipping.
Listen, if the island wants, we have a whole contingency that goes into the beach. You're welcome to join.
Let's do. What do they call it? The polar bear?
Let's not make it so big.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there. No.
Tons of people.
The other day they had a thing with the non-Jews, shall we say, we're doing baptism at the beach, so we could do it too.
Eretz, it's a good thing I finished construction on my pool.
Who's doing
I thought that was funny.
My neighbor just finished the pool next door to me.
Taka? In-ground pool?
Beautiful. Yeah, we went swimming the other night. Yeah.
Wow. You could have a minion with a pool. You could have a minion instead of a kiddush club. You could have a instead of a pool.